Yes, my people, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to episode 2 of this 100k FTMO challenge for this year. I appreciate you guys following along, and I know it's been a minute since episode 1, but I've been away most of January. Finally had the time in February now to sit down, upload this, and update you guys on how the account's going. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. I'm going to be showing you a couple of things today, which is obviously just my trading journal, which I didn't show you in the last one, and then the account metrics as well, just show you guys that obviously things are matching up. And the trading journal is pretty much explanatory or self-explanatory. So you've got number of trades, you've got your pair, date, time, what position, if it's a long or a short, time there, you've got the reason for the trade, lot size, entry, stop loss, and the rest. Pretty much says it on the top. And then obviously I just have to input the data every single time that I make the trade. So I always have the before and after pics as well, just to show me what I'm looking at before the trade. Take a screenshot of the trading view platform, and then after the trade plays out, either hit stop loss or take profit. And then the notes here as well. In there, I like to document while I'm in the trade as much as I possibly can, and then any additional notes after the trade as well, just so I remember the kind of emotions that I was feeling through the trade, and just to learn and review on the weekend, and for me to learn through past mistakes and what I did well on previous trades. So far on this account I've taken 6 trades, it shows on here, but you'll see on the metrics that it actually shows more, but I'll explain why. And right now currently we are 0.8% in profit on the account. So always good to start off in profit. Just never good to start off with drawdown, just for your mentality, but it's always good to start off in profit, just to build that little safe haven, the little safety net for your account, and compound the account going forward. So the first trade that I took on this account, it was a buy setup, and I'm just going to shut up here. Pretty much looked like this before and after. So my trading strategy, I like to use the 2022 ICT mentorship model. So looking at the charts here, you can already tell we had the sweep of this Asia low here, get a market structure shift here, fair value gap on a 5-minute. You had these two down here as well, but just to get myself in the trade, because sometimes price isn't always going to come down to the bottom fair value gaps. Obviously you want it to give you the best risk to reward entry, but it's not always going to give you that. I was just targeting these relative equal highs here. There was buy side liquidity sitting above here as well, I think on the 15-minute, and that was a winner. As you can see here, it was the first actual trade on the account, was taken beforehand, but I'll explain why. But this trade, my thinking around it was that initially it was a 1 to 2 if I targeted these buy side liquidity up here, but it is a 1 to 1 if I targeted this here. So I just wanted to build a safety net for this account, and compound it up until I get to 1% or 2%. So the risk is going to be lower for now until I build that safety net up until 1 or 2%, and then I can start going on full 1% risk. Whereas right now I'm currently trading 0.25% or 0.5%, depending where I am on the account. So just going to show you the after, which is this on the 15-minute. We did have that push up after. Price never came back into the bottom fair value gaps down here or here. Price continued going up, hit my target, had a hard stop, had a hard take profit in place, so that literally took me out of the trade. But as you can see, price continued going on further up into these levels up here, which I was a bit annoyed about, to be honest, because that would have meant more profit on the account with the first trade, but it is what it is. As you can see here, I did hesitate with execution, which led to a worse entry that I wanted. aimed for a 1-to-1 at relative equal highs to secure first win on the account, build momentum and equity, 0.25 risk on this trade. Price came to CP, then reversed back to entry, which had me wondering if it would reverse, but I trusted the analysis. And the bit I'm talking about is this bit here. So just before 7 o'clock New York time, price came up near the TP, reversed back down, back toward the entry. That's when I did start judging the analysis, but I just trusted it, set it. My stop loss is still down here. I know it was a bit tight, and then let it ride up. So happy about that one. Second trade on the account was a loss. I'm just gonna open up both here just so I can show you guys. So this is the before. I thinking that price was below midnight open, so anticipating a run on stops for a buy setup, which showed, but price just aggressively stopped me out, as you can see on the second chart here. And after the trades lost, I told myself no more trades until the PM session, just to see how price wants to show its hand. Trade did fit my criteria, only knowing the thing that if I held the first trade on the account for that 2R that I was talking about, then I'd still be in profit right now, even though with this loss, but it is what it is. I took the trade, so I'll take the accountability for the loss. Next trade, as you can see here, if it decides to open, I'll just show you that after actually. Okay, next trade, this is the before. So we had news here at 8:30, as you can see. Price opened with this candle here, shot up, took buy side liquidity, then came down, took sell side. I was looking at that as a market structure shift. As you can see here, there was no fair value gap apart from in this section here, but I didn't think price was going to come up there, which it didn't come up there. But then we had this next little price leg down here, as you can see, with that bearish market structure shift continue going downwards. I was anticipating that price wanted to continue going lower to sell side liquidity down at these 4-hour levels down here. We had previous day low here as well, so I was anticipating price potentially just breaking through that. Saw a fair value gap there within that 10 to 11 o'clock window in the morning. Entered and wanted to ride price down. As you can see on the after, price never even tapped into that previous day low. Literally came up, consolidated for a bit, went against me, stopped me out. So I know that was a very tight stop loss placement. Usually I do put it above the old high. Price was still in the consolidation range, but it had the setup form. Missed the entry, but trying to get back in on the second price leg to continue the move potentially lower. My own fault actually on this trade, because on Forex Factory my timing was off. So when I checked the time, I thought there was more news in the afternoon, but this was actually the only news alert, high impact news on this day. So my charts are always set to New York time, and on Forex Factory it wasn't set to New York time, it was set to GMT, which is obviously the time zone that we use in the UK. So that was my own fault for not realizing that the time was off, but it is what it is. We move. Next trade, so that was 2 trades back to back losses, but it's part of the game, so we move. Next trade was a bit of a funny one, because it actually would have been a winner if you see this here, but I'll explain why it was. It was a small winner, but could have been a full TP. So on this one, looking at the analysis, as you can see, we had buy side liquidity up here, which was swept. We had the market shift here and here as well. So that means I was looking at price to go lower at the sell side liquidity down here and down here as well at that 107.950 level and 108.119 level. So those were my kind of 2 TPs that I wanted price to go under. Yeah, the fair value gap that was created there after the sweep of liquidity and had the market shift, so I was expecting a return into that. entry to take it below. So with this one on my notes, I believe in price is still bearish on the high time frame and tapped into a relative equal highs on the 1 hour, which aligns with the OTE 15-minute market structure shift, and displacement can be seen on the 15 minutes and the 5-minute. Entered on the 5-minute fair value gap, but I did close the position as New York session was coming to a close, as I don't keep my trades open overnight. So I wanted to see how price would trade overnight. That's why you can see on the account it's actually a $15 win, and then after the commission it was a bit less. So this is what the price actually looked like after. So as you can see, it consolidated a little bit, retested that 5-minute fair value gap a little bit. There was no volume in the markets. Asia session dropped, consolidated a little bit into London the next day, and then went to TP. So if I held overnight, obviously would have gone straight to a full take profit, but it is what it is. I don't like to keep trades open overnight. So on to the next one, which was another win. So that would have been back-to-back wins, but we move. As you can see, this is before. This is a nice clean trade. I like how the price action showed itself on this day. Had nothing really going on in London. It would have been a really nice trade, but this was on Thursday, I believe. Was it Thursday? The 8th of the 2nd. Yeah, Thursday. So I saw this liquidity sweep down here below today's lows. You had a market structure shift here when price broke up above that candle there. You had two fair value gaps that were created on both on the 15 minutes, one there, one there. I did think price was going to come low into the bottom one, but just to get in the trade, I decided to go for the top one instead. There was literally maybe like 2 pips in between, so just decided not to let price come down, possibly tap into this one and shoot for the cost of 2 pips. So went for that one. Market executed, and as you can see, this is how the price ended up playing out. So as you can see, price tapped into the bottom fair value gap here, started shooting up. My initial target, as you can see up here, was above these highs, so today's highs, into this 50% equilibrium on the high time frame. But as you can see, when price did come up, start consolidating a little bit. This is not the best screenshot because I didn't get how price was consolidated into the PM session, New York PM session, sorry. And I just wasn't a fan of it. Obviously, like I said, I don't hold trades overnight, so I decided to manually close at a 1% gain on the account. And if I actually showed you the price on that day, you'll see what price did, because it played out over the weekend. So it actually took 3 days for this to play out, and price hit TP on the following Monday. But as I said, I don't keep trades open overnight, and I don't like to keep trades open over the weekends as well. It's just something I don't do, and I can't do that on this FTMO account either. So it is what it is, but it's a compound win. This one was a bit annoying. So these two trades are the most recent trades, came in the same day, both euro shorts, and this was annoying because I'll show you this first trade and then I'll show you the second trade. So this was the analysis initially. On this far left hand side, you can see price swept that high, came down, market shift, expecting it to return into a fair value gap here, and it did. Tapped into it during the central bank daily range. Asia then broke down. There was a breakup block that I was anticipating price coming back into, with this 15-minute fair value gap over here as well. Price tapped into that, tapped into it again, had a market structure shift down here with a 5-minute fair value gap. The entry did come on this candle here, but I missed it literally by 1 minute because I had a work call, so that was a bit annoying. Price did look like it was going to move away from me, but I didn't want to get a bad entry. and then price consolidated for a little bit just outside my kill zone, and then I decided to pull the trigger because I wanted to stop being fearful or trying to get the best risk to reward, because I thought to myself, compound small wins is better than any missed trades or losses. So decided to enter, and then when price, this is this trade, and which was a reposition because I wanted to get a better entry when price came up, as you can see here. So that was the initial entry. This was like a reposition that I wanted because I wanted my stops above these highs up here, and as you can see, price came in further than that 5-minute fair value gap, and then tapped into what I thought was this order block over here, not order block, sorry, this breaker block over here, retested it. So then I entered. I know it was outside my trading zone, so it is what it is, but at the same time I'm probably not going to do it again, even though this was a winner, because it's just going to save me a bit of heartache and a bit of mental capacity, because price then, after I re-entered on this second position, consolidated a little bit, came down, and I wanted to get out at break even, so I was holding both trades, including the first one, open for a little while, and I wanted to get out at break even. As you can see, price never really came down back to my entry. Could have got out back here, but I was still hoping that it'd come down here. As you can see, just came up, shot me out. So that took me out on the first position, and then on the second position I literally just held it, as it was a reposition I was talking about, because I decided to accept the risk. And I knew there was going to be news coming out later on, so I thought, you know what, if it's a loss, it's a loss. Overall, I'll be down 1%, which I'm fine with. I can grow that back. I've done that before. It's not a problem. But luckily, and I say luckily because I actually did get lucky on this one, even though my analysis was correct. The news played out in my favor. Sometimes news can just wake you out and go in your direction. In this format, you know, when the news did come out, literally came down, and with a little bit of spread, it took me out of the trade, which I was happy with. And from my notes, you know, I put down, this was a reposition from the previous trade to get a better entry. Had to hold for that deep drawdown, but decided to accept the fact that I entered the trade. Happy to have held it as it became a winner, but in all honesty, a bit of luck with this trade. Right idea overall though, so I'm happy with that. So that is the trades that I've taken so far. Like I said, 0.8% in profit. I'm still going to be taking 0.25 and 0.5% risk up until I get to 1% or 2%, depending on how the market is moving and the trade setups as well. I really want to be only taking high quality trades on this challenge, because I've done that in the past, taking low probability trades, and I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time with it. Patience pays. And this is just the metrics on the account so far. So if it loads up, as you can see, as I say, it says it started December 23rd, 2023, but the reason for that was because they basically emailed me saying that I can't keep the trade account more than 30 days without placing a trade on it. I thought it was stupid, so I just placed like a really small trade, as you can see right here. Literally opened it and closed it just to activate the account, and then these are the further trades on this day here. This one classes as 2 trades because of the risk that I had on was miscalculated. So as I said, obviously I was trading 0.25% risk per trade, but when I opened the first position, it opened as 0.125, so I had to open another position as 0.125, even though they're both losers. Bit annoying, but it is what it is. And then over here, this was counted as another trade on the account, which was my own fault, because when I was trading it, I thought it was on the demo account, but then when I realized it was on the demo account, I closed it straight away, because it was a low probability trade that I was looking at anyway. So as you can see, when we come down here, that first trade that I was telling you about, literally opened for 17 seconds, opened and closed it, and then that other one I was telling you about, literally opened it for 2 minutes, realized that it was on the challenge account, even though I wanted to place it on the demo account, so I closed it straight away. And then the rest of them. In terms of the equity curve right now, still pretty much flatlining up to 10 trades, but that's fine because, like I said, we're not rushing. We're taking our time with this and just seeing how it goes. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks, there's more high probability setups that come up and I can take them. Hopefully I compound the account up to that 1-2% buffer, and then I'll be able to take 1% risk per trade, which should steadily grow my account. In terms of risk management, when I do take a loss, I'm going to be dropping down to half whatever position size that I've taken. So when I get to 2%, if I take a trade and it's a 1% loss, then the next trade will be 0.5% risk. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys have a blessed week. Looking forward to the results, looking forward to growing, looking forward to breaking new barriers on this challenge account and this year, and finally becoming an FTMO funded trader. So apart from that, guys, peace, love, see you on the next page.